Hey there guys, it's XI Forsaken, and in today's video I'm just going to be going over a little bit of the challenge mode in Lethal Company and just kind of describing you my opinions on it. So far, playing it a few times now, I've probably played it about 20 times altogether. I'm not too big of a fan of it because there seems to be almost no incentive to get off the ground. Most of the times, even if we get the ship loaded up, nobody wants to actually take us to orbit and get away from all the enemies. Most of the time it's kind of just a piss take. If you really want to go there, you'll go ahead, you'll spend all the time and grab all the items inside the building, but then no one wants to take us to orbit. And if that's not the cause, the other cause is people either just leave and make it not enjoyable altogether, or there's even hackers. Like in the clip that I'm showing here, there's going to be a hacker you just saw him fly by right there. He's just flying by, and it's an alright concept, but its execution I'd say is very flawed. There's almost no incentive to go and play this, and I've played this a lot. To say the least, you'll go in here and you'll finally find a lobby, one that's staying open, and you actually get to start up and go into the map, and 3 seconds later it gets ended because the host either doesn't like what's going on, or there's just nobody actually really giving a shit. It's a pain in the ass actually trying to get started on this game because you want to try and get out. I'm trying to grab items that aren't even gonna get caught by the electricity, so that way I can get them all the way back to the ship, which is in that right room here. But then the other times, everybody else is just kind of trying to, I don't know, end game the area however they're doing it. They're not getting any farther. The most I ever see anyone get is dead. Most of the time everybody's just dead and nobody ever gets out. And the other half, you get out and nobody wants to take you to orbit, so most of the time you're playing it for nothing. And the very few times you actually do get out, it's still almost as if you're doing it for nothing because nobody takes it to orbit, and you either have no loot because all of it's some kind of metallic item and no one wants to take those up to the ship because they're just a hassle getting all the way up there, which I don't blame them, but you're just sitting here fighting it the whole time. And saying all this, I have to admit I love this game. It's a really fun game to play. It's not too crazy. It doesn't involve a lot of thought. Sometimes you just want a game where you can go mindlessly grind for items and just play with your friends, have fun, and just experience something together where you're trying to look for a fright, looking for something to just kind of spice up the night, you know. And this game's definitely it. It's something to play, it's something to just play along with friends, but when you're playing with randoms, sometimes it gets pretty irritating because you'll join into a lobby and you'll get disconnected because whatever reason, either they don't care for the way you're playing, or they're just getting off for the night, they've had it, they're deciding to throw, essentially, and just let the game lobby go to nothing. So it's a great game and I enjoy it very much, but sometimes it does have its moments where it's just completely irritating. I enjoy playing this probably later at night after I've gotten done playing most of the games that I'd regularly play in the day. And that being said, it's really a wind down game. You want something where you're just kind of mindlessly going through it and getting levels, however, or I'm boss level right now in the game, but it's not like it really even matters. People will be like, I only want boss plus, and you know, themselves will only be a leader or something like that, which levels in this game don't even mean anything because you can find somebody who's a boss level and they don't know what they're doing. This is one of the few games in my library where I'll actually go back and just keep playing despite having some difficulty with the lobbies. Most of the people I meet in the game are awesome to play with. I enjoy a lot of the community and talking with a lot of the people because I just have an overall fun experience. But there's the minor things like inconsistent lobbies, somebody decides to leave when they die, and things like that that just kind of ruin the overall experience. And it's a great game, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of things for frustration in here that just kind of make it a little bit harder to play all the time. And the world generation, I think, was a great change to the game because it just kind of added a whole new segment to it. I feel the world generation almost made it kind of easier for me to get around and kind of recognize my surroundings. For an example, I've found the apparatus quite a few times and I've actually gotten it out fairly easy, and it'll be really close to like an entrance or a fire exit, which is always really clutch when it comes to grabbing the apparatus, just having a quick exit. But sometimes it does get pretty hard to get out of the areas because you'll have the new diagonal hallways and stuff like that. Along with, it almost seems more enemies spawn a lot earlier in the day than what used to, but that's just part of updates and quality of life updates. You're gonna get change, you're gonna have to change your play style, and nothing ever stays consistent forever, so you're always gonna have to change up your play style. You can't just keep it consistent all the time and expect to be getting away with it. But yeah, overall, I'd say Lethal Company is probably one of my favorite games to play right now, especially on the side. Like, sometimes it's nice to go and play some of these PvP games. I've been enjoying the finals a lot lately, but when you've gotten worn out on those, it does get pretty tiring to go back and play the finals. Like, oh yeah, let me go back and just play more cash out or bank it. It gets pretty repetitive, and you just want to change a pace or even something just to relax, because it does get pretty repetitive and annoying and stressful even just to keep going and playing something that aggravates you. And playing PvP games is definitely like that for me. I much more enjoy a cooperative where I can go play with my friends, have fun, and just try and survive. Some kind of survival or something where I'm playing with friends and just enjoying good times. And sometimes PvP is just not that for me. So as much as I love PvP, I love to get away from it, and Lethal Company is definitely a game that I'll go to because it's got room for 4 players, which is usually enough for everybody that I want to play with, and we can go out and play for a couple hours on end and not be bored. There's plenty of games out there that you can go play, it just depends on what you want to play. But if you ask me, Lethal Company is definitely worth it. It's definitely a fun game to play, and I'll keep playing it in the future. And I definitely recommend it for you if you haven't played it already. And that's the end of my rant there. I did kind of get off on a side subject on whether the game was even worth playing and this and that. But if you liked the video, please drop a like on the video. It will really help me out a lot. Comment down below as to whether you agree, disagree, or if you have some other opinion on the challenge mode and Lethal Company just in general. And please drop a subscription to my channel because it would be great for me to have more subscribers and more people to engage with and just communicate with in general. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, peace.